Nearly everyone loves Donkey Kong Country. The fast-paced platforming action makes the game just as fun today as it was in 1994. But even though they're your enemies, have you ever felt bad for the Kremlings and the other animals you'll hurt throughout the adventure? Well, that's why today, I aim to find out if it's possible to finish the game without harming any enemies. But before we get started, I'd like to put in a quick word for nothing, because this video isn't sponsored. Now let's get started. Here we go, jungle hijinks. The biggest challenge to start with is curbing your usual violent tendencies. But for the most part, few enemies get in your way, so this is a good way to start. The only troublesome section is this part with the three naughties. Jumping between them is more difficult than it may appear, and they can change direction to throw you off. Jump past the middle one, then march between him and the third one. This reminds me of that Penguin March micro game from the first WarioWare. He fell to his death? Well, that would have happened whatever I did. I'm not going to feel responsible when stupid enemies get themselves killed. One down, many to go. On to Ropey Rampage. The armadillos charge at you fast, but you have to hit them twice to kill them, so they aren't too much of a problem. You'll have to carefully jump on the trees to avoid killing these Kremlings. Easily the trickiest parts of the level. Try to aim as far away as possible, leap onto the other side and then beyond. Once you have the timing down, the level should be a cinch. Reptile Rumbles next. The snakes here have very misleading hurt boxes. Try to land as far away from them as you can. The pit of snakes near the end leaves very little room for error. There should be one little blank space between them to land on and then jump on ahead. You'll probably want to be Diddy to do this, but let's face it, Diddy's better for most situations. The cave is filled with jumping Kremlings. Jumping over them is probably possible, but it's very risky. It's safer to move underneath them as they jump past. The ones around the bouncy tires at the end may prove more troublesome. Simply back up and wait for them to arrive at the tire-free ground and you'll be done. Coral Capers is the first underwater stage. You cannot attack enemies here at all unless you're riding on guard. But you can easily finish the level without him, so just don't use him. There's nothing else to say here. The infamous Barrel Cannon Canyon becomes the first major hurdle for this challenge. A barrel early on in the stage will fire you directly into a Kremling and kill him if used. But thankfully there's a shortcut on top of the cave at the start of the level. It will take you past that Kremling and skip a decent chunk of the stage to boot. I think only Diddy has the jumping ability to clear this pit of Kremlings, but then there was another hapless Kremling in the path of a barrel's firing range. But he can be avoided by firing into the wall here and entering the bonus stage. When you leave the cave, you'll be right at the checkpoint and without killing the Kremling. Pass under more jumping Kremlings, get through the barrel blast section, and that'll be the end of the stage. Oh fudge, that's right, I forgot about the bosses. There's no way you'll be able to avoid defeating them. Ah, screw it. We'll just exempt them from the rules and only include the standard enemies. Starting World 2, nice and easy with Winky's Walkway. None of these enemy placements should pose any problems. Carefully jump through these Kremlings and use Diddy to clear this jump without landing on the necky. Sorry Winky, you're going to have to stay up there, but you'll get your chance to shine later. Only jump over these drones just after a naughty comes out of one to avoid killing him, and you should be good to go. Minecart Carnage is perhaps the most difficult early level, but for this challenge it's not changed at all. The only enemies are Kremlings in carts, and if you try to jump on their heads, you'll be the one to take damage. So just beat the level like normal. Nothing else to say about it. As the name suggests, Bouncy Bonanza is filled with bouncy Kremlings. You know the drill. Don't attempt to jump over them, go underneath them instead. The only exception is this Kremling next to the bouncy tire near the end. Bounce as high as you can when he's on the ground and you'll be fine. The spooky stop and go station is next. You have to keep touching the barrels from stop to go to stun the Kremlings. Good thing it doesn't kill them, because that would make this level a nightmare. It's probably possible to finish it without touching any barrels, but since it's not a part of the challenge, I don't need to try it right now. What I do need to watch out for are the clap traps. This right here has to be the hardest part. You have to carefully land without killing the claptrap while also maintaining speed to get past the stunned Kremlings before they recover. Keep your wits about you and you should make it through in one piece. Only one level of World 2 remains, and like the previous world, it's the toughest level for pacifists. These Kremlings merely hop around, making it hard to go underneath them safely. This section has 4 of the gits. I got through it by making some of them go off screen and disappear, giving myself more room to breathe. Maybe this could technically count as killing them? It's probably possible to damage boost through it, but it's tricky. The annoying snakes of the long hurt boxes return. Wait for them to bunch up as much as possible, then jump past them. Under normal circumstances, it's probably impossible to get past this section without damage boosting. We'll return to that in a moment. This vulture blocks the way and throws his nuts around. You could probably jump off a nut when he throws one upwards, but it's hard as Donkey Kong. Instead, you'll be best off if you find the secret wing key hidden up there. His extra leaping ability will allow you to get past everything much easier. You can even jump past this section without damage boosting, but be careful you don't fall into the snake pits. Now, leaping on the vulture's top nut will be much easier. This part may prove troublesome, but if you get hit while riding a wing key, you don't automatically go into a jump. So take a hit from the wheel, quickly run ahead, and no snake shall be harmed. Now defeat the giant Neki or whatever he's called, I don't care, and World 2 will be over. World 3 gets off to a terrible start with what might be an impossible level. Right at the start, there's a Neki directly in the trajectory of a barrel. You can actually get past it by jumping into a nut from the little Neki with a DK and just barely getting past the gap with the Diddy. But don't get excited because there's another one straight after that. But because there's a DK barrel along the way, it might be possible to damage boost off the same nut twice, but I couldn't keep up with it.
Okay, I'm back from the toilet, now move aside, let me take over from this point. And by the way, there are plenty of other Nekis you'll have to kill in the same manner, but these ones can be avoided if you act fast enough to reach a warp barrel placed just after the first 2 Nekis. It'll take you almost to the end of the stage after all the other Nekis. Hold right as you use it to avoid landing on the tiny Neki. Then aim the barrel upwards here and carefully move right to avoid landing on the other one. If you could damage boost off the nut at the start twice and still get to the warping time, the level might still be possible. But I'm going to consider it a maybe for now and carry on to Treetop Town. Enemies drop from above here, but as long as you can avoid them all, I'm not going to complain. But then, right at the end of the stage, I discover a very good reason to complain. It's yet another Neki blocking the weather barrel blast. No, why? Just why? Is this level 100% impossible when victory was in reach? There's a warp at the start that takes you all the way to the end and past that Neki. But you have to kill another Neki to reach it, so it doesn't help at all. But I worked out a solution to the problem. If you hold left as you fire yourself out of this barrel to the next, the Neki will spawn in a different position, one you can safely shoot past without hitting him. And with that, this level will be cleared. Close one. Forest Frenzy won't be so dramatic, but it has its moments. The most common enemy are Zingers, but you can't kill them anyway. Damn, Zingers just have the best design of any fictional bee ever, don't they? More jumping gremlins may prove bothersome to avoid, especially when Nekis get involved. It's tough to roll under this Neki, jump to the right and not hurt the gremlin. But it's certainly possible, and that's all that matters in the end. A whole swarm of Nekis will fly at you towards the end. Avoid them by climbing the rope. Then go under yet more jumping gremlins and the level's done and dusted. Temple Tempest will put your altruism to the test. You'll spend much of it being chased by naughty wheels. It's difficult to remain pacifist when your own life is on the line. But it's certainly manageable, you just need to think and act fast. You've been through worse, and there's no reason you can't overcome this as well. Orangutan Gang shouldn't be very difficult. This is the first level to feature the animal buddy Espresso. He moves fast and can flap his tail to glide. He can't actually harm enemies and can only take damage himself on contact. Normally, that would be a downside, but it makes him perfect for this challenge. Clam City is another water level. Don't use Engard, I'm not even sure who's in this one, and beat the level normally. Nothing else to say. Defeat Queen Bee and World 3 is over. World 4 begins with the Bitrate Destroyer, Snow Barrel Blast, along with the always annoying ice physics. It's going to be tough to preserve your pacifist nature with that and the enemy placement to contend with. I feared this level was impossible at one point. There's yet another Neki with a Barrel Blast death fetish here, but if you hold right you should miss him. When the blizzard sets in, the Nekis get extra aggressive. Be ready to duck and avoid them, but careful you don't slide off and victory should soon follow. Not the easiest way to start a world, but it could have been worse. Slipside Bide has more of those loathsome low jumping gremlins that I hate oh so much. But most of the level is avoiding zingers on ropes that make you slide down and up them somehow. I wouldn't think about it too hard. I get impatient with the gremlins and just damage boost through them. If it works, it works. Other than the gremlins and the ice physics, it shouldn't be all that difficult to succeed. Ice Age Alley was a big worry to start with. Early in the level, there's a Neki that seems to be unavoidable. But at the very start, if you go left and get past the tiny Neki with a damage boost, you'll find Espresso, the stage's saviour! And now you can flap past anything that would have had to die as DK or Diddy. Man, if I attempt this with the second or third games as well, I'm going to miss Espresso so much. Still, be careful not to get hit, you really don't want to lose him here. If he weren't here, it would have almost certainly have been impossible. Another water stage. Same deal as before, it's possible. Next, the future feature of Leave My Eyes Alone, Torchlight Trouble isn't much trouble. The only enemies here are clumps and crushers, neither of which Diddy can kill by jumping on. As you may have noticed, I prefer playing as Diddy most of the time anyway. Poor DK, he gets kidnapped in 2 games in the trilogy, and even when he's playable, Diddy is generally better. The final level of World 4 only has 2 parts I'd consider a pain. It's another level where zingers are the most common foes. However, watch out for the gremlins that leap between the tree houses. 1 is fine, but when there's 2, I think damage boosting is the only way to get through. It happens twice in the stage, and thank goodness there's a DK barrel after the first one. So yeah, be careful, avoid getting hit elsewhere at all costs, and you should pull through. All that remains of World 4 is really naughty, so just kick his ass and only 2 worlds are left to go. World 5 kicks off with Oil Drum Alley. An unremarkable stage that offers little new for a pacifist player. Bouncing gremlins, dumb naughties and aggressive orangutans. You've dealt with all of these before, and you can deal with them again. Not really anything else to say here. It seems these monkeys are more at home with a factory than they'd care to admit. Perhaps Trick Track Trek has more to offer in terms of challenge. Oh, it sure does. You're stuck on a little platform as many enemies charge at you from every angle. Carefully manoeuvre around, avoid standing directly above the Nekis as it drops down. Be ready to duck quickly if they swoop in across the screen. This particular tiny Neki is probably the toughest part of the level. So hard to resist killing him. The other ones don't exactly help in that regard either. For the second half of the level, enemies will attempt to drop onto the platform. Good thing they all lack the common sense of a red Koopa and fall off the edge to their deaths. Again, it's their own fault for joining K.Rool's crew. Maybe if they realised I had no ill will towards them, they'd still be alive, but alas. Elevator Antics brings the snakes back, no! The ones in this crawl space seem to be specifically designed to die by your hand. But if you move back before the second one spawns, wait for the first one to move out and jump over him, you'll gain the necessary room to jump over the second one as well. Disaster averted. Duck under any tiny Neki's nuts and leap over them and you'll soon reach the end with your hands still clean. Poison Pond is another water level. It's possible. Minecart Madness is next, the second and last minecart level. These stages are so iconic, I'm actually a little surprised there are so few of them. Nekis are usually a pain for this challenge, but here, they're easy enough to avoid without killing. Oh no! In order to progress here, you need to kill these gremlins and take their minecarts. There is nothing else you can do, it must be done. You'll have to kill 4 of them in total, and unless there's some major glitch I'm unaware of, it's 100% unavoidable otherwise. Why? Why would they design the game this way that doesn't cater to my very specific needs? And no, none of the bonus stages will whoop you past the cart gremlins. They're not even doing anything, it's like they're waiting for me to kill them and fail the challenge. It's a damn shame, but I'm not going to stop there. Now we shall aim for the fewest deaths as possible. The next level, Blackout Basement, isn't going to cheer me up much, unfortunately. This is the stupid stage where the lights keep going out and you can't see anything every so often. Many of the enemies are lumped together and you'll have to work out how to get past them under these conditions. I had to make these gremlins spawn separately to leave an opening between them. Diddy is just about able to jump over these claptraps when they're on the stairs. And as for all the gremlins near the end, I had no choice but to damage boost through. DK wouldn't jump high enough after getting hurt, so he had to be a sacrificial lamb as Diddy ran on ahead to victory. The only thing left to do in World 5 is to defeat Boss Dum Drum. Are you kidding me? This boss sends out a total of 10 enemies during the battle, all of which must be defeated in order to progress it. But maybe I can cheat a little here. Maybe I can say these technically don't count because they're part of a boss battle? I don't know. Seems too underhanded to me. Ironically, you don't have to hurt the boss itself, it does itself in once you slay the enemies. The final world begins with Tanked Up Trouble, the tougher version of Trick Track Trek. You have to collect the fuel cans to keep the platform going, which can be difficult at the best of times. Many foes are awkwardly placed around the fuel cans, but with careful movement you can grab them without anyone dying. It's not going to be easy, no, but it's possible, and in the end, isn't that all that matters? It'd be best if you play as Diddy, but I don't think you can change cons when you're on the platform. DK could probably still do it, but why settle for second best? Hey, don't get too cocky, Diddy. If Dixie were here, you'd probably get left in the lurch as well. A toughie of a stage for sure, but what else do you expect from the last world? Manic Minces goes against that expectation with a rather barren stage when it comes to enemies. The only foes are Naughties and the rare Crusher. Plenty of room to get around them. After everything you've been through, it shouldn't be hard at all. The end is nearly in sight now, just 3 levels remain. Hang in there. Misty Mine brings back the toxic cans that release enemies or whatever they're called. They come out in predictable patterns, but careful you don't jump over them just as something comes out and gets killed. It's pretty irritating, but as long as you're patient and time your jumps, it should be easy enough. This is probably the trickiest part. The best option would be to damage boost through. This part at the very end with all the snake drums should have been hard, but nothing came out. I don't know why or how it happened, but I'm not complaining. Loopy Lights is another dumb level where the lights keep going off. Worse yet, the claptraps here jump when you do and are generally a pain to get past without killing. Learn to back off your jump a bit to clear them without either of you getting hurt. Damage boosting is an option, but should only be reserved as a last resort. Watch out for the bunghole vulture on top of this light barrel, don't jump into him by mistake. And before long, there will be just 1 level remaining. Platform Perils, the final regular level, and fittingly enough, it's hard. Very, very hard. At first it might not seem too bad, the enemy placement is nothing new, but then you make it to the checkpoint. You see, that zinger dies if you touch the checkpoint barrel, which means this is the only level you'll have to do all in one go. And the second half is where the difficulty shoots up significantly. You'll have to jump onto these platforms to make them start moving, but they're occupied by naughty, so you'll have to jump around with perfect precisions to avoid killing them. And remember, one fail means you'll have to start the whole level again. This challenge went from tough at points but reasonable to absolute insanity in no time flat. If you're the type who has to see a challenge through to the end no matter what, well, this stage may break you into many teeny tiny pieces. Oh, but the naughty platforms are just a warm up for the main course of the nightmare delicacy. The grey crushers after them are much bigger and take up more room of the platforms. If you jump into them, you'll get knocked back and most likely to your death. At least you don't have to worry about killing them, even as Donkey Kong, but that's very little comfort. I was so close to giving up and declaring this level as impossible, but then I saw something that changed everything. That was weird. I found out that if you land on the platform just as a crusher is on the edge of it, he'll turn around and the platform will move and he'll fall off. Now just do it multiple times and you might just get to the end of this after all. If you can beat this level this way without any kind of save state, you are truly out of this world. All that's left of the game is to defeat Master Necky Sr. and then K.Rool himself. And I guess that's a wrap. So is it possible to complete Donkey Kong Country without defeating an enemy? Most likely, no. But if we add up all the unavoidable kills, the Necky in Vulture Culture, the 4 gremlins in Minecart Madness, and the 10 enemies during the Boss Dundrum battle, if you want to include them, that is, then the final total of kills is 15. Or 22 if you include the bosses. Actually, scratch that. Boss Dundrum did himself in, didn't he? So it's actually 21. But I'd be happy to be proven wrong. And by the way, no, that glitch that skips the whole game won't count. Well, I guess that's all for now. It was a lot of fun. I'll see you later, and may all your bees be my wax.